So this is what we call the linkage system, and these rods insert in the same rods that the headrest insert into, and you would tighten the same way. You need to leave this loose. It's very important to understand that if this is ever taken apart, this piece right here, the swivel, has to be installed so the tightening knob is facing the rear of the table and the starburst is facing the doors to the magnet. If you put it on the opposite way with the knob facing the doors, you will have issues that won't work properly. This is the skull clamp, and it works with a ratcheting mechanism. Right now it's secured. To loosen it, you pull down on this plunger, and that'll take it apart. And you can take it completely apart that way if you like. But when you reinsert, it's a ratcheting mechanism to close. And when it's closed, it's not going to open back up, but as an extra safety mechanism, to avoid this plunger being accidentally released and causing it to open, once it has been the desired position is reached, give the plunger a turn and you'll feel it lock. Now it will not accidentally come open. The pressure gauge is on this end. And to tighten the rocker arm mechanism, it is a starburst that loosens it, and then tighten it so the teeth are engaged. You always want to check and make sure the teeth are fully engaged and that they are not just partially engaged, something like that, because that could cause a slip. So make sure they are fully engaged. When it comes to attaching the skull clamp, after the patient is pinned and the surgeon is holding the patient, a second person will bring the linkage up to meet the skull clamp. And it always needs to attach on this side, the skull clamp on the outside of it. You do not want to attach it this way. You will not be able to reach your imaging position if it's done with this knob on the outside. It always has to be this direction. And once that's engaged, the surgeon can then do any adjustments they need to position, give any kind of a tilt or rotation that is needed. And also, there is lateral movement capability. It can be adjusted laterally either way. Once the desired position is reached, you start tightening, and you tighten either from the patient to the table in order or from the table to the patient. Either way is fine. The main thing is you do not want to just randomly tighten them. You want to go in an order. And keep in mind, if you need to make any adjustments later that involve the need to change your angle, you have to loosen both of these because these work together. You can't loosen just the top one or just the bottom one. You have to loosen them both so that you can move them as needed. And it's always important to remember to tighten them on the back for the lateral adjustment. Make sure that's tight as well. As an alternative, if more length is needed, there's a longer version of this piece right here. It's called a transitional member. And you can replace this with this one if it's needed. Just need to be careful and only use it when it's absolutely necessary because you can make it more difficult for your patient to fit in the board, especially if it's used in a situation where it's not really needed. We have a starburst adapter so that if you need to attach the BrainLab Vario guide or some type of retractor system, you can attach this here. And then this provides two industry standard starbursts to attach any accessories you may need, and you can adjust it to whatever position is needed. This is engine coil support, and it consists of a clamp and a couple of different arms. This only attaches to this side, the side with this braid. And there's a knob here to loosen the clamp. And when you attach it, you cannot slide it over the end. You actually have to come under and hook it on. And it opens to the clothing. And you recommend that once you attach it, just tighten it just enough so it doesn't fall off, but that you can still move it. And still adjust its position if needed. And also leave these different joints loose. When it comes to attaching the actual lower engine coil, you have this peg, and this hoop attaches to that peg. So the first thing you want to do is just place the coil inside the skull clamp, then attach the loop, and then adjust it in or out, or give it any tilt or any angulation you might need. And once you find where you'd like it to be, then go and tighten all the different components. That's why we recommend it be left loose until you're actually ready to position it away. So tighten all the knobs and the clamp. And one more here. Now the engine coil is very secure and rigid. One thing that changes with the coil support is if the surgeon needs the rocker arm turned to the other side. So what that does, of course, it moves this rail to the other side, and now, as we had it before, if we put it on here, it's not going to be in the right position. You see this is spacing out here? So what you actually have to do, once you get it in place, you just have to reverse this. You have to move this to the other side. And now that it's on this side, it's ready to go. What we're aiming for in general is for this ring that attaches to that peg on the lower coil. We in general want this to be in the center, lined up with the center of the skull clamp. It does not have to be exactly in the center, and you want that flexibility to actually be able to move it where you like. But as long as it's generally in the center, that's fine. And then we can attach our coil as needed. Lastly is the navigation adapter. This is what you will attach the BrainLab drape link system to. And when it's parked, you'll notice it has these little scalloped edges. They line up with these, the skull clamp, and they can go on either side. So the way this would work is these pieces come together and just get them lined up. And then you can move this, anywhere up and down either side that you wish. So as high or as low as you can get the fit, you can place it. But just tighten this down. Now it's rigid, and you attach your drape link to that.